Naruto is a fox demon who wanted to gain the respect of his village. Ichigo is a Shinigami who destroys hollows. And Luffy is a pirate who wants to find the One Piece. These three characters and their manga are known as the Big Three. Each of them is the hero of their own story. But how would a story develop if the three worked together? In other words, what would happen if Naruto, Ichigo and Luffy were brothers and formed their own pirate crew in One Piece? The adventure of the three would naturally begin in the East Blue. Luffy is brought to 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚉 by Garp after Shanks' departure. But in this timeline, Luffy doesn't meet Ace, but Naruto instead. I will explain later why Ace isn't here. This lonely boy is happy to find a new friend. Naruto was brought to 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚉 by Garp a few years ago, after he found him in the New World. Apparently, he should be sold as a slave. Naruto and Luffy quickly become friends, they both share the fascination for food, and they desire to become stronger and set sail. Naruto tells Luffy of another friend who is currently on a kind of treasure hunt. And in the evening, this boy returns with treasures. It's the boy Ichigo. In character, he's a bit like Ace. At first, he's a bit too cool for Luffy and doesn't want anyone else moving in with 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚉. However, Ichigo quickly abandons this attitude when he realizes that Luffy is a very warm-hearted and funny guy. The life of the three boys then develops quite relaxed. Just like in the original timeline, the three share their sake and promise to set sail in the next years. Each of them announces their dream. Naruto wants to become a strong shinobi who's recognized by everyone. Ichigo wants to become the strongest swordsman. We don't hear Luffy's secret dream again. Maybe it has something to do with a massive party. Unlike Ace, Sabo and Luffy, these three brothers want to travel together and form a crew. The three name their crew the Sake Pirates. One day, the Sake brothers learn that the Celestial Dragon will be visiting the Goa Kingdom. They don't want to miss this opportunity. On the Celestial Dragon ship, there's surely rare treasures, perhaps even another devil fruit. Luffy already possesses the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Naruto also has a devil fruit, the Ino Ino no Mi mythical model Kyuubi. He's had this fruit since his childhood. From Naruto, we learn that Garp rescued him as a child from a slave trader. Apparently, Naruto was kidnapped from his homeland, but Garp couldn't tell him where it is. Naruto desperately wants to find out. Ichigo, on the other hand, doesn't have a devil fruit yet and is a bit jealous of his brothers. It would be really cool if the Celestial Dragons had a devil fruit on their ship. On the day of 𝚬𝚘𝚙𝚉𝚗's arrival, the three managed to sneak onto the ship thanks to Naruto's devil fruit. Naruto can transform into other people, similar to Mr. 2 with a Mane Mane no Mi. He takes the form of a marine soldier to get on board. But their cover is quickly blown. Our heroes cause chaos on the Celestial Dragon ship. Marine soldiers and Cypher Pole agents chase the boys through the ship. While fleeing, they hide in the treasure chamber and make a discovery. They find a devil fruit for Ichigo. He bites into it and suddenly transforms into a hollow-like being. Ichigo has consumed the Hito Hito no Mi mythical model Hollow. This allows him to transform into a hollow and use hollow-like abilities. Now all three brothers have a devil fruit. Due to this chaos, 𝚬𝚘𝚘𝚗 doesn't do what he originally intended to do. He doesn't take a bazooka and shoots at Zabu's ship. At least for now. So Zabu can easily set sail. Hollow Ichigo defeats the marine soldiers and Cypher Pole agents, allowing our heroes to escape. But they have a problem. They are on the sea. Then Luffy recognizes a boy he's seen a few times in the Great Terminal. Using his abilities, Luffy pulls himself, Naruto and Ichigo onto Zabu's ship. But then 𝚬𝚘𝚘𝚗 grabs the bazooka, but Luffy blocks the shot with a Gum Gum balloon. The Celestial Dragon ship goes up in flames and our heroes manage to escape. The adventure now begins a bit differently than originally expected. Our heroes are now traveling with Sabo on the sea. But what happened to Ace from the original timeline? This is the perfect moment to explain that. And for that, we need to travel a bit into the past. In this timeline, there's a simple solution. Roger did not ask Garp, but Whitebeard to look after his child. For Baba Whitebeard, family is the most important thing, so it makes perfect sense that Roger would ask his former rival for help, and then Whitebeard would take care of Ace. Roger tells Whitebeard to be the father for Ace that Roger himself can be. Whitebeard then finds Portgas the Rouge and places her under his protection on the Moby Dick. As a result, she doesn't have to carry Ace in her womb for 20 months, and he's born 11 months earlier. Thus, in this timeline, Ace is almost a year older than in the original timeline. Sabo, on the other hand, is hunted and found by his father, just like in the original timeline. Luffy, Naruto and Ichigo have seen him occasionally in the Great Terminal. Now our heroes have saved Sabo from his supposed death. Both Ace and Sabo survive in this timeline. Ace is exactly where he should be in the story. Sabo, however, needs to find a different way to join the revolutionaries. Because now he has 3 boys on his ship. And then we return to the present. Sabo is still annoyed that the 3 are now simply traveling with him. Suddenly the 3 start arguing about where to travel next. Luffy desperately wants to go somewhere with food, Naruto desperately wants to save some village to gain recognition, and Ichigo just wants to fight against a strong swordsman. But 𝙲𝚘𝚎 quickly makes it clear to the three that he is the oldest and they are on his boat. If they want to travel along, they will go where he wants to go. 𝙲𝚎 then announces that he wants to eliminate the celestial dragons from the world. For this, he wants to join the revolutionary army. He has heard from some newspaper reports that their location is on the Grand Line. He already has a plan on how to find the revolutionaries. The four set out for the bridge Tequila Wolf. Slaves work on this bridge in the East Blue. The bridge has been under construction for centuries. During the time skip, the bridge is liberated by revolutionaries and Robin is rescued. 𝙲𝚎 wants to save the slaves on the bridge and thereby draw the attention of the revolutionaries to himself. The four boys manage to free the slaves on a part of the bridge. Four children draw the wrath of the world government upon themselves. Of course, the revolutionaries don't take long to come for the four. A group of revolutionaries stops by Tequila Wolf to check it out, and they decide to bring the children to Dragon. Upon arriving in Baltigo, the four meet Dragon. 𝙲𝚎 and Dragon already know each other. Dragon is pleased that 𝙲𝚎 managed to escape from the Goa Kingdom. He remembers 𝙲𝚎's words about the nobles smelling worse than the inhabitants of the Great Terminal. Dragon wonders who else 𝙲𝚎 has brought with him. Luffy, Naruto and Ichigo introduce themselves. Dragon immediately recognizes his son, but doesn't want to reveal their family relationship. After all, he didn't reveal himself to Luffy in Loguetown either. He offers the four boys the chance to become part of the revolutionary army. 𝙲𝚎 agrees, but the three 𝙲𝚎 brothers decline. They want to become pirates. Dragon makes it clear to them that with their current strength and navigation skills, they wouldn't stand a chance in the East Blue, let alone on the Grand Line. He offers them the opportunity to temporarily join the revolutionaries and train on Baltigo. Once they are strong enough, they're welcome to start a pirate career. This offer sounds tempting, and the three join the revolutionaries, at least temporarily. Over the coming months, the four carry out various missions for the revolutionaries and train with Dragon, Kuma and Ivankov. During their time with the revolutionaries, our heroes get to know various islands on the Grand Line. They also learn the basics of Haki from Dragon and some of the Rokushiki techniques. This allows them to now face even low gear users. During this time, the three also improve their handling of the Devil Fruit powers. Luffy learns gears 2nd and 3rd as a child by observing how Kuma moves incredibly fast. Naruto learns to control his Zoan and hybrid forms, and Ichigo becomes an increasingly better swordsman. His blade even changes forms in his hollow form. From the newspapers, our heroes learn that a village in the East Blue has been enslaved by fishmen. Through Huck, a fishman and revolutionary, they found out that it's Arlong, once a member of the Sun Pirates under Fisher Tiger. Luffy desperately wants to help the village. It would be the perfect start for his pirate career. After 8 years, the 𝙲𝚎 brothers' time as revolutionaries comes to an end. Dragon provides them with a ship to travel to Kokoyazi village in the East Blue. Before that, our heroes say goodbye to Dragon, 𝙲𝚎, Ivankov and Kuma. Arriving in Kokoyazi, Luffy and Ko confront Arlong. He stands no chance against the 𝙲𝚎 boys. The village is liberated and Nami joins the crew as the navigator. Now the crew could finally travel to the Grand Line. But Luffy desperately wants 2 more crew members, a cook and a musician. The others don't want to wait any longer, so Luffy is allowed to choose one of the 2 positions. Of course, the choice falls on a cook. Nami then navigates the ship to the Baratie and they recruit Sanji for the crew. Since we are still 2 years before the start of the actual story, there's no conflict with the Creek pirates at the Baratie. Meanwhile, Luffy, Naruto and Ichigo get their first bounties. For the victory against Arlong and the liberation of the slaves on Tequila Wolf, each of them receives a bounty of 50 million berry. This bounty also draws the attention of the pirate hunter Zoro. Our heroes travel to Loguetown towards Reverse Mountain. There Luffy looks at the scaffold of Roger's execution. Zoro has already anticipated this and has Yosako and Johnny lead him to Loguetown after getting lost several times. There he confronts the 𝙲𝚎 pirates. Zoro attacks immediately, Luffy dodges the attack with Zoro, while Ichigo faces Zoro in a sword fight. Zoro brings out his Santorio sword style. Ichigo is surprised that there's a pirate who fights with 3 swords. But even with 100 swords, Zoro would stand no chance against Ichigo here. Similar to the fight with Mihawk, Zoro's blades shatter. He has to admit his defeat, and like in the fight with Mihawk, bares his chest for Ichigo to strike him down. But Ichigo refuses. Naruto transforms into his Zoan form. Our heroes jump on his back and flee to their ship. Suddenly, Smoker stands in their way, but he poses no threat to Luffy and the others. In this timeline, they all master Haki, and Luffy can grab Smoker. He throws the smoke soldier away, and our heroes set off for Reverse Mountain. Everyone announces their dream once more, and then it's off to the Grand Line. By the way, if you enjoyed this video so far, feel free to smash that subscribe button. It would help me and the channel out tremendously. Luffy, Naruto and Ichigo have done it. They've built a small crew, gained their first allies, received their first bounty and developed some new rivalries. Our heroes reach the Grand Line. They meet Laboom and Crocus, receive a lock pod, and set out for the first island. We just have one problem. Where will our heroes travel next? Luffy wants to experience an adventure, Naruto wants to gain recognition, and Ichigo wants to fight against a strong swordsman. The gimmick of the crew is that they can't decide who the captain is. The three agree that each of them can be a captain on a different day, and Ichigo becomes the first captain. He desperately wants to fight against a strong swordsman. Our heroes naturally follow this decision. They travel to Kuragaina Island so Ichigo can meet Mihawk. A battle ensues between the two swordsmen. Just as Zoro underestimated Ichigo, Ichigo now underestimated Mihawk. Even with his hollow abilities, his haki and his training with the revolutionaries, he stands no chance against Mihawk. As in the fight with Zoro, Mihawk only draws his dagger and he effortlessly defeats Ichigo. Similar to Zoro, Ichigo receives a deep scar on his body. Mihawk calls him a frog in a well. He should return after defeating hundreds of other swordsmen. Ichigo's wounds are more serious than expected. Our crew sets out to find a doctor. They want to travel from island to island to find one, but suddenly they come across a massive pirate ship. Our heroes have reached the Moby Dick, and there they meet Whitebeard and his crew. It's also the first meeting between Luffy and Ace. In this timeline, the two are not brothers. They ask Whitebeard for help. Ichigo has suffered severe wounds from the fight with Mihawk. Whitebeard decides to help them. After all, they're still children, and Whitebeard does everything to protect children. He calls Marco, who then heals Ichigo with his flames. He then advises them to find their own doctor. Today, fate has saved them, but that won't always be the case. Before departing, Ace wants to briefly fight against Luffy. After all, they both carry a D in their name. He finds the little rubber boy interesting. A fight breaks out between Luffy and Ace. The fight is balanced as Luffy now mastered Gear 2nd and Zoro. With his haki, he can even inflict damage to Ace. Unfortunately, Luffy burns himself with every attack against Ace. There must be a way to damage a Logia user without touching him. Whitebeard just laughs. There's a way, but he's not sure if this droid possesses this ability. Ace finally defeats Luffy with an anti-attack. Ace thinks that the rubber boy has done well and should fight against him again in the future. Ace and Luffy exchange their vivre cards. Our heroes thank Whitebeard and Marco. They set out to find a doctor for the crew, and Marco gives them the advice to check out Drum. There are supposedly countless doctors there who could join them. And off to Drum Island. There our heroes clash with Warpole and his selfish doctors. The human reindeer Tony Chopper helps them in the fight. After the victory against Warpole and the crowning of Dalton, Chopper becomes the newest member of the Sake crew. After Ichigo was allowed to choose an island as captain, it's now Naruto's turn. He desperately wants to liberate an island from tyranny to gain the respect of the inhabitants. Nami searches the newspaper for possible targets. Her choice falls on the island Dressrosa. Apparently the country is being oppressed by Doflamingo, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. To reach Dressrosa, our heroes must travel to the New World. Nami informs the crew that they need to coat their ship on Sabaody to then set sail under the Red Line to Fishman Island. On the way to Sabaody, our heroes make a short stop at Water 7. There they encounter Zoro again and he confronts the Sake pirates. This time it comes to a fight between Luffy and Zoro as Ichigo is still recovering from his wounds. The fight is balanced and Luffy can dodge many attacks but is sometimes hit by Zoro. The fight ends in a draw after Luffy grabs one of Zoro's swords and pretends to fight him as a swordsman. Zoro starts laughing and can no longer take the fight seriously. The boys explain to Zoro that they want to travel to the New World. They can meet there again to fight. However, Zoro has no idea how to get to the New World, so he temporarily joins the crew. He's not really an enemy, but more of a rival, and when they reach the New World they will split again. Our heroes then travel to Sabaody. There they learn about the slavery on the island. They meet the young mermaid Kami. She is kidnapped and rescued by our heroes, and then she joins the crew. Luffy and Co. also meet Rayleigh here, who codes the cruise ship and chats a bit with Luffy about Roger and Shanks. Since we are still 2 years before the start of the actual story, no celestial dragon is attacked here and no admiral is called. Kuma is also allied with Luffy in this timeline, allowing the Sake pirates to travel comfortably to Fishman Island. So it's off to the New World, however without Usopp, Robin, Frankie or Brook. Usopp still lives peacefully in Syrup Village. The pirates won't attack the island for another 2 years. Robin is still a member of the Baroque Works. Frankie is still the leader of the Frankie family. The world government hasn't brought him to Ines Lobby yet. And Brook is still wandering in the Florian Triangle. Nami has skillfully maneuvered the ship around the cursed Florian Triangle. Our heroes make a brief stop at Fishman Island. Sanji gets a nosebleed and then our heroes have to depart again. But they see that Fishman Island is under Whitebeard's protection. Luffy wonders if they will meet Ace and Whitebeard again in the New World. The Sake pirates rise up again and they enter the New World. And shortly after that, they've already reached Dressrosa. This is a kingdom full of toys. Our heroes quickly discover that the toys are humans transformed by a devil fruit. Luffy and Naruto want to confront the Flamingo directly, Ichigo and Zoro want to participate in a tournament at the 𝚗𝚙𝚾𝚗 to become stronger. Nami and Sanji want to help the inhabitants, the two meet Violet and also the Tontatta, who have also allied against the Flamingo. Since our heroes don't have Usopp in this timeline, it will be a bit more difficult to defeat Sugar. In this timeline, Chopper takes on the stars together with Kami. And the battle on Dressrosa begins. Coincidentally, Sabo, Koala and Taka are also on Dressrosa to confiscate some weapon shipments. The three help our heroes. In an all-out battle, the commanders of the Doflamingo pirate crew are defeated and some new allies are recruited in the 𝚗𝚙𝚾𝚗. Only the fight between Naruto, Luffy and Doflamingo is still ongoing. Luffy has learned Gear 4 during his journey on the Grand Line. Naruto, on the other hand, manages to trigger the awakening of his devil fruit. This causes clouds to emerge from his body. The Kyuubi awakening in Gear 4 Boundman then makes short work of Doflamingo. King Riku takes his throne again, Luffy gains new allies, Ichigo defeats countless swordsmen, and Naruto gets the recognition and respect of an entire country. Our heroes all get new bounties. Each of the three Sake brothers now has a bounty of 400 million berry. The victory against the Flamingo disrupted the Smile production. Kaido declares the Sake pirates as the newest enemy of the Beast pirates. After Ichigo and Naruto were allowed to be captains, it's now Luffy's turn. He finally wants to become the king of the pirates and find the One Piece. But how do you actually find the One Piece? In the original timeline, the Straw Hat crew finds out about this in the Zou arc. But in this timeline, our heroes are not allied with Law and they also don't have a mink in their crew. They could theoretically travel to Lodestar Island and learn there that they need the poneglyphs to find the true last island of the Grand Line. But there's also the option that Luffy learned from Dragon that he needs to find the 4 road poneglyphs to travel to Laugh Tale. He also of course needs a person who can translate the ancient texts for him. This will also be a problem because there aren't many characters in the story who can do that. From Dragon, Luffy also learned that Kaido and Big Mom are in possession of 2 road poneglyphs. The mink Lindbergh also gives Luffy a Vivre card of Zou. There's apparently also a road poneglyph there. In the end, it doesn't really matter. There are ways for Luffy to find out about the road poneglyphs. And then the journey for the One Piece and the search for the road poneglyphs begins. Kami informs her crew that there was once a red poneglyph on Fishman Island. However, it has disappeared. Rumors suggest that a man marked by flames possessed this poneglyph. They will come back to this later. The easiest path is to Zou. There they don't need to fight to obtain the road poneglyphs. Our heroes are warmly welcomed by the minks and they report Lindbergh's words to Ino and Neku. The two show them the road poneglyph. Our heroes also meet Carrot and Pedro, who join the crew. Carrot wants to travel the sea and Pedro wants to support the next Pirate King. Ino and Neku also share the tale of Kozuki Oden and his retainers who will arrive 4 years in the future. If they plan to steal the road poneglyph from Wano, they must be prepared to face Kaido. If Oden had no chance against Kaido, they certainly won't have a chance against him either. Ino and Neku advise the crew to wait 4 years before attacking Wano. But Luffy doesn't really want to listen to them. 4 years is a very long time. Luffy has already waited forever to become a pirate. He can't wait another 4 years now. But maybe he will reconsider in the future. Our heroes then set off for Whole Cake Island to make a copy of Big Mom's poneglyph. There a battle with Big Mom ensues. Big Mom's strongest children are not all on Whole Cake Island, as no tea party or wedding cake is currently taking place. That's planned in 4 years. Nevertheless, Big Mom recognizes Sanji and wants him to marry Pudding so that the Jammer will ally with her. But instead of Sanji staying, Pudding travels with our heroes after realizing that Sanji doesn't mock her for her third eye. Pudding falls in love with Sanji and feels understood and respected. Her mother feels betrayed. Our heroes steal a copy of the road poneglyph. Ichigo's devil fruit abilities work similar to Brook's abilities here. The homies have no effect on him, and Ichigo can even remove homies from objects or animals. His hollow fruit is the natural enemy of Big Mom's devil fruit. This allows our heroes a much easier escape. In the end, they grab Brûlé and run away. The Sake pirates now have 2 of Big Mom's children on board. Pudding as a new member and Brûlé as a hostage. However, Brûlé is not treated badly by the crew, causing her to become much more relaxed over time. She tries to escape through the mirror world several times, but it doesn't work. Now the question in this timeline is, what do our heroes do next? Do they attack Wano and lose against Kaido and the Beast Pirate crew? Do they just steal the copy of the road poneglyph from under Orochi's castle? That would certainly be possible, but then they would be abandoning Wano Kuni. Naruto is in favor of saving the country and fulfilling Kozuki Oden's will. Ichigo also wants to face the swordsmen in Wano Kuni. If he can't defeat them, he will never be able to take on Mihawk. Luffy then actually lets himself be persuaded by his brothers to wait another 4 years before attacking Wano. During this time, the Sake pirate crew continues to build their influence in the New World. In these 4 years, they free Alabasta from Sir Crocodile's tyranny, and Robin joins the crew. They might even help Frankie avoid being sent to Impel Down. Luffy even hears of Ace's defeat by Blackbeard and supports Whitebeard in the war at Marineford. Here Ace is then Fred. Maybe even he joins the Sake Pirates. Luffy also could help the revolutionaries again and support them in the fight against the world government. The Sake Pirates could also temporarily disband for 4 years and then find each other again, similar to the original timeline. And then they could defeat Kaido and get the 3rd road poneglyph. In this timeline, Luffy would then also awaken his Devil Fruit and become Joy Boy. After liberating Wano, the crew then sets out to find the man marked by flames to get the 4th road poneglyph. And with this, Luffy can then travel to Laughdale and become the king of the pirates. But what would happen if Luffy wasn't the protagonist of One Piece? How would the story develop then? What if, for example, Naruto from this video was the main character in One Piece? Find this out in this isekai adventure. Thank you so much for watching this video and see you in the next one. Take care.